Hey guys, we're back. We're back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, you guys. Hello, hello, across the world. Got a very interesting little news clip that I think is important to discuss. Okay, um, because you never know what it could possibly be, right? And if it is something toxic, people have a right to know that. And I don't know. It's just it's a very interesting little piece of news that's coming out of Vegas. Hey, Dolly, how are you, bud? So we've got this mysterious liquid that continues to fall over the skies of Las Vegas, Nevada. A brownish, blackish, gooey liquid. And people are finding this in droplets on their vehicles, on their campers, on their all sorts of everywhere. It's just like literally everywhere. I got a little news clip that I want to play. Yeah, isn't it well, first, let me play the news clip before I even elaborate a little bit on how strange it is, and just keep note of the actual location of where all this mystery liquid is being seen.
Northeast are something else entirely.
Yeah, apparently it's a dark colored liquid that's kind of oily to the touch, falling from the sky and covering a neighborhood near Charleston and Hollywood. Thanks for joining us at 11. I'm Dave Crevassier.
And I'm Trisha Keene. Well, people living in the area say they have no idea where the drops are coming from. 13 Action News reporter Sean Delancey spent the day trying to get answers. Sean.
People here in the eastern part of the valley are completely perplexed over these brown, black, almost oily looking droplets that are falling from the sky. They're everywhere. They're over all of these cars. They're over an RV in the back of the lot. They're all over this basketball court. The big question is, what are they and why are they falling from the sky?
Helicopters through here.
Marco Cervantes is at war with, well, something.
See on the floor?
Something that's been falling from somewhere.
It could also be grease, oil. I don't know.
Here, there, everywhere. Thousands of little black and brown droplets have rained on Cervantes's property consistently, he says, for the last 3 to 4 weeks.
It's very hard for me to maintain my vehicles. It's very, very difficult to be outside of my yard, knowing that you can't even cook a barbecue or anything like that, and you get droppings on your food.
Neighbors all refused an on-camera interview, but each and every one said they've experienced the same thing with no explanation. Cervantes questioned whether the droplets could have come from planes.
So they would come straight this way and swing that way.
Out over the mountain range?
Correct.
But he says contacting the FAA has yielded no answers. Cervantes worries that the substance could be toxic or harmful and wants answers.
I would like somebody to take action and help me determine what this is and obviously figure out a solution.
We've reached out to the FAA, the Nevada Department of Conservation, and the State Division of Environmental Protection to get an explanation for this. And as of right now, we haven't heard back. Sean Delancey, 13 Action News.
Crazy, right? That's crazy. So in the above the desert skies of Las Vegas, Nevada, this mysterious brown black goo that is falling, this mysterious liquid, there has not been any sort of like testing that has been done on this liquid that they say is oily to the touch, right? It's oily to the touch. I have to say, the news reporter's last name, David Cavassier, gosh, that's a kind of a cool ass last name, right? So this has been going on for weeks, in which this mysterious liquid is showing up. When he mentioned the barbecue and his food possibly being contaminated with that particular liquid, that was a concern to him. I mean, shoot, I feel you. Hey, Centel. Hey, Third Eye. So they're finding this mysterious liquid all over the place across everything from their homes, their cars, their RVs, their basketball courses. Again, it's a oily type of greasy type of liquid to the touch. And this is happening on a daily. I mean, a daily. They're going out and they're seeing the splatter of liquid. You know, the first thing that came to my mind is a plane dumping their waste out over the skies or whatnot of Vegas. Then, of course, I get to thinking about, in that same breath, the fact that scientists have figured out ways to sort of manipulate weather using various different methods. And I'm sort of wondering, have they found some new method to try to generate certain weather events? Who knows? But if you were, I mean, this is on the basketball goal, right? Hold on, let me hear this real
Droplets
quick.
could have come from planes.
It's
So they would come straight this way and swing.
additional info. Hold on. Let me see what my laptop is not being very responsive. Bear with me, y'all. The Eastern Las Vegas Valley. Eastern Las Vegas. You know, I've been to Vegas a few times and it's such a busy place. I don't know how I'd feel about like actually living there, you know? I think I'd probably rather go up a little bit more northwest.
Falling in the Northeast are something else
I
entirely.
just have to see
Apparently
this
it's a
again here.
dark-colored liquid that's kind of oily to the touch, falling from the sky,
Yeah.
and covering a neighborhood near Charleston.
Yeah, like we're seeing this on basketball goals. So those are very high up in the air. It's obvious this is coming from the sky. You can tell by the way the liquid is hitting
Part of the
those
valley are
cars. You can definitely tell it's splattering from the sky. For sure. So, I mean, it's everywhere, right? So they all want to know what it is. People have reached out to the Federal Aviation Administration for a potential explanation as well. But there's, of course, no answers, right? One government department forwards you department, and it just becomes this like never ending chain of just crap, right? So his last name is a drink, Cavassier. That's a good point. Hey, what's up, Bruce? How you doing? Yeah, it's the real question here. Let me give me just a sec, y'all. 1 second here. What if there was some like experimental craft or something like that the government's testing or testing over? It could be even 50 miles away from the center of Vegas. Maybe the wind is somehow carrying it. Maybe, I don't know. Now y'all got me sort of curious about how planes remove the waste. How does that process work? Like, what is that process? The tank is emptied by special service trucks on the ground. So everything you ever wanted to know about toilets on planes, but you never asked. And of course, this sort of does bring up the thought, like, how if it's not because of planes dumping waste, what could it potentially be that's causing these strange droplets, right? So now I'm sort of curious about how planes and airplanes work, or I'm sorry, bathrooms and airplanes work now. But for any of y'all who may have wanted to know before, they apparently empty these toilets once the plane is on the ground. When you fly, the pressurized cabin can make you want to poop. On an average long haul 747 flight, the average passenger visits the loo 2.4 times during a flight, producing 230 gallons of waste, nearly the volume of a 4-person jacuzzi. That's a lot of waste, and it requires a miracle of engineering to handle it all. That's where the airplane toilet flush comes in. A noise so loud, it's as if the toilet bowl opened up to the skies to release its contents. You know, those toilets are sort of loud when you flush them, right? Where does it all go, though? When you flush, a trap door in the base of the toilet opens and SkyChem fills the bowl, chemical. The loud roar you hear when you flush isn't actually waste material exiting the plane into the atmosphere, despite the urban legends. It's the vacuum sucking the contents out of the waterless bowl. And it's not a small roar. The speed at which the contents exits the bowl have been clocked at a velocity faster than a Formula One race car. From the lavatory, the waste travels through the plane's pipes to the rear of the plane and remains in a tank that can only be accessed from the exterior of the plane. One sec. That's interesting. I didn't know that. And it's, hold on, let's see. From the lavatory, okay, hold on. The tank is emptied by special service trucks once the plane is safely on the ground. But wait a second, or occasionally not. So sometimes I guess they are able to dump these tanks while the plane is actually flying in the air. Pilots cannot clear the tanks during the flight, which would definitely be explainable, being the fact the tanks are on the exterior of the plane. So the trucks attach a hose to the aircraft, and it sucks out the waste into the truck. After the plane's tank is emptied, another hose is attached to both vehicles to clean the tank using a disinfecting product. The 230 gallons of waste, damn, is it me or does that reporter look like he had a bad night last night? Wait, he looks like he had a bad night. I see, he's got a whole mark across his forehead. Hold on. Sorry, I was like, is that really a mark on his forehead, or did some of that black goo fall on his face, you know? I'm so stupid. The 230 gallons of waste from an average long-haul 747 trip equates to 0.55 gallons per flush per passenger, which is significantly less than the 3.5 gallons that land-based toilets go through per flush, but is still nearly 1 ton in extra weight or thousands of dollars in overweight baggage fees. While airplane lavatories once did come with disclaimers about flushing while seated, there's no validity to the old horror story about the obese woman who had her inside sucked out on the airplane toilet. And it has never occurred to anyone. In fact, it's nearly impossible, since your butt would have to be completely airtight with the toilet bowl, which isn't possible with the toilet seat preventing a vacuum. As you now know, pilots can't eject waste in the middle of a flight, even to lighten the aircraft's load. Not only is it illegal, it's just not a function built into the aircraft. But yes, there have been several cases over the past couple decades where homes have been hit by blue ice falling from the sky. The blue ice is a combination of human waste and SkyChem that freezes at high altitudes and leaks out of a plane's undercarriage, dislodging closer to landing when the temperature rises. Who knew? frozen poop could cause so much damage. How many of you guys had no idea how the toilets emptied until this story came? So now let me just kind of hit this extraordinary circumstances. United Flight diverted after lavatories reached capacity. So I'm curious about why that was noted. Hold on. Oh, gross. Okay. But even still, though, they were not able to dump it. Okay. Well, anyway, y'all, nothing really to elaborate on. Just kind of curious. From the other article, there was discussion about when they empty that tank, right? That the tank is emptied by special service trucks once the plane's actually on the ground. But it does look like there is some situations and cases where they have somehow managed to get the waste off the plane, okay, prior to landing. So there's that. All right, y'all, my laptop is kind of like not being friendly with me here. Absolutely no idea if y'all can even still hear me. Yes, I believe you can. Okay. Yeah, leave it to me to put out this type of information, of course, right? Anyways, guys, I'm out of here. I'll see y'all next time.